I think it's like probably good 3 inches.
Foursquare and seven something.
Foursquare and 7 inches.
Pretty strong with this one.
It's,
Okay, so
it's a good
we're
one.
starting now. This month we were playing Plague Inc., which is a app game and a PC, I think Steam game. So with me today, I've got behind me Tony and Robert and Shane and Kat and Aaron.
Hello.
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 Did you guys play the Christmas version of it?
Yes.
Yes.
I did not, but I heard about it.
Spreading happiness all over the world.
I failed terribly. Maybe I shouldn't have started in Saudi Arabia.
The center, the source of all happiness.
Yes. I usually start in China.
Yeah.
I just thought that it said that because everyone was cut off and stuff that they wouldn't be moving around a lot. And I thought, well, you can pretty much travel anywhere within most continents except for the Americas via that. So I thought it was the perfect spot, right in the middle.
Yeah.
So China ruined our Christmas.
That's why I started in France,
Oh, I did that on one. I started in France.
because it was kind of in the middle.
Yeah. You can like drive like what, like an hour to get all over the place in Europe.
Yeah, so
That makes sense.
that was my logic of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I generally started in India because it's like a third of the size of the U.S. and it has 1.5 billion people.
Wow.
You're like 5 times the amount of the U.S. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, what did everybody think of the game? I'll start with Aaron.
Okay. I find it really terrifying and interesting all at the same time. It's you learn more about things that will kill us all by playing this game than by attempting to kill off the human race than you would doing anything else, I think. The guy who created the game actually went to the CDC and talked
They like
about plagues. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
And yeah, and it's an excellent simulation at what goes into plagues and how they spread. And I don't know, I had fun with it. I kind of feel bad for having fun, but I had fun.
You're not having fun. You're being educated.
Yes, that as well. But
Oh, wait, you're
definitely. Yes.
What did you think, Kat?
I thought it was fun. I tried the first level where you're a bacteria, and I named it after my cat, and I started in the UK, so Mr. Darcy destroyed the world.
Nice.
Shane, how did you like the game?
It is diabolical. It makes you, what Aaron said, it makes you realize, wait a minute, this actually happens. And then I think at the time when the game came out, there were several movies that were referencing it, and then like History Channel had a thing talking about like how to end the world, or so it was kind of like it all came together, and it was just like, wow, I want to just clean my hands now.
I felt bad because I was kind of like diabolically laughing the first time I did it. I'm like, oh, die, everyone die! And I'm like, I'm going to give you diarrhea, and I'm going to give you like anemia and make you insane, and it's like...
Was I the only one cursing New Zealand and Madagascar for being hard to get?
No way. Nope.
And Greenland?
Greenland.
Oh,
Greenland was hard, yeah.
You gotta get Greenland from the start.
Mhm. What did you think, Robert?
I found it very interesting, but I actually didn't. All right, fine. Is this thing on? Now it feels awkward. No, I found it very interesting, but I actually didn't enjoy it all that much. Like I guess I got more wrapped up in the kind of simulation, but I didn't really like pursue it like I would a game. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna try this and I'm gonna try that and I'm gonna try and overcome this doing that. I mean, I did some of that, but it felt more mechanical to me than anything else. And I like simulations. I like games that kind of, you know, simulate a scenario. So I found it interesting in that sense, but as a game, it didn't like excite me a bunch. But it was still good. It wasn't like super exciting for me.
It's a toilet game.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I played it mostly
That's
on the toilet.
Oh.
giggling in the bathroom. Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, Tony, stand right.
Tony front and center.
Okay. I was a little along those same lines, I guess. There is some fun to it for me, but I think for me there wasn't enough information, I guess. Like, I feel like there was data that was not, like, I'm kind of a data cruncher, but so like if it said like, you know, this resists cold or resists heat better or whatnot, like I want kind of numbers to know exactly what I'm going to use to know like what's the best thing.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't, you know, specific enough where I was just like, I'm gonna try to do these things, but I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And,
Yeah,
and I was kind of bad at the game, so you know that hurts. Yeah.
It's not easy. Like, I played casual mode, and that seemed pretty. Okay.
Well, I want a black leg.
Casual mode seemed pretty easy, but when you get into normal, I didn't even attempt brutal because normal I couldn't even
Yeah.
do it. I got really, really close, but it was always like, yay, they're cured, and then all of a sudden everybody's getting better. Which I should be happy about, but I'm like, but no, I want to win. So yeah, that was hard.
Bacteria seemed pretty easy because I got the DNA string that let you what was it? It didn't penalize you for taking away DNA that evolved, so that I could do the whole thing where nobody had any symptoms, but everybody got it.
Oh,
100% of the population, and then boom,
Yeah,
get
you
wrong
gotta trick them.
diseases.
You gotta infect them all so they don't know that there's a problem, and then you add on the deadly symptoms.
yeah.
Or they cure
I
them.
did that when casual, but when I did it in normal, it's like I almost got there, but there was just something I was missing, and I couldn't figure out what it was that I don't think my points were gathering enough to get the evolutions that I needed.
Yeah.
Like I was like, come on, coma, but I couldn't get 30. So, yeah.
Yeah. Once you like infect like everybody, like the DNA just slows down drastically, and then it's like, I need to get these things because they're getting cured, but I'm not getting any DNA points. So that's what happened with me, at least.
I agree with Tony that we didn't get a lot of numbers. I want more data. I think there's a lot of behind-the-scenes numbers and stuff going on, and calculations, but I think they might have dumbed it down, so to speak, to make it, you know, appealing to everyone, and but still get the education out there somehow. But I would have liked to see like maybe have a settings mode that you can turn on and off about numbers, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, their settings are pretty limited.
Well, I mean, I know all of us played the free mode. Did anybody actually buy it? Because I'm wondering if there were like extra
Differences.
features. Yeah.
I bought it on my iPhone.
Oh, you
Okay.
bought it? Okay.
It was, well, the thing was is that I looked at it on Steam and they wanted $14.99 for it, and then on the iPhone they only wanted 99 cents for it. And I thought, well, I'm not sure how much I'm going to play on this. You know, I don't know what the replay value is, and it's like I felt more comfortable spending the dollar as opposed to spending the $15.
Yeah.
I felt more comfortable spending nothing.
I didn't realize there was a nothing version.
I wonder if, because we're on Android, so I wonder if maybe
Yeah.
for the iPhone you have to pay for it.
Yes, so.
We'll expense it, you know.
Mhm.
Expense it to the Hangouts. Sony
Yeah.
will cut you a check.
Yeah, right.
99 cents.
If it was $99, maybe, not 99 cents. I love your T-shirt, Robert.
Thank you. I wish it had come in the color I had chosen, but I like this T-shirt as well. No, it was going to be black because it looks a lot better on black, but it's fine. It's a nice T-shirt.
I like it soft.
Yes, soft.
Good feeling him up. This is a family film. I mean, family show.
Yeah. Keep it appropriate, Sonia. Jeez.
No.
Stop fighting. This is the war room.
Yeah, think of the censors.
Yeah. It's like all of a sudden everything goes black. Well, it's funny, your monitor just went off. Ooh.
Your
Which they can actually-
standing desk.
Yeah, they can see everything. You can see how unkempt all the things are with the shelves being empty. Anyways. So,
I have a question.
go ahead.
What did you guys do? Like, did you guys find anything to do while you were waiting for your disease to spread? And if you didn't have DNA points?
Did
Felt
you,
like I did a lot of
wait, what do
waiting.
you mean if I had waiting for my DNA? Did you guys play it on normal mode or did you play it on fast forward mode?
We don't get. I don't think we get it because the free version doesn't have fast forward mode.
Right, yeah.
Well, the free version has. The one I paid for had fast forward mode, and I could just fast forward and went really quickly, so there wasn't really a lot of downtime.
Yeah, we would have had to pay to get that,
Yeah.
but we didn't. I think what I would do is I would just keep looking at what my next move was going to be. So I thought, okay, I'm about to get 15 points for evolution, so I'll just wait and then get it. I don't know. That's all I could think of to do while I waited.
Your grandmother, she left the kettle on and she was cleaning out her ears, so yeah. I think you left, that's why I think you left the kettle on. That's also another reason why I was a little late coming in.
So,
Almost 300,000. Oh, 300,000 people infected.
yeah.
Wait, did you just start a new one?
And do they have like different challenges? Did any of you guys try the Black Plague?
No,
No.
that was another thing that doesn't happen unless you pay for it.
Yeah.
So,
You literally, all you get for the free version is you get the bacteria one, and then you have to beat it on normal mode to unlock the next one, which I don't know what it is. It's probably viral or something.
I think it was virus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you're kind of stuck. And then it goes, we don't want to unlock it. You can pay for it. Oh,
Mhm.
Well, in the plague mode, they gave you a scenario that was similar to like how the Black Death was back in the ancient times, and you basically had, regardless, you had 10 years to kill everyone on the planet. That was it, 10 years. I think I don't know, maybe that's how long the last plague lasted or something.
Yeah. That would be interesting. They have pop-ups, like when you get to a certain like death amount, or well, no, infection rate. It tells you like your disease is more infectious than TB or more infectious than the plague or whatever.
I just got a message that said it more infectious than TB, and I found an option to speed things up. So that's
There's
helpful.
an option.
Yeah, up here you hit that arrow.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I had no
I
idea.
thought that's kind of cheap that they wouldn't give you that mode. Otherwise, it's kind of boring. I mean, you want people to buy the product.
I think that's why I was like, what do I do while I'm waiting 5 minutes for something to happen?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Pay to win.
Well, you see, guys, what you gotta do before you buy the game is you gotta watch someone play it on YouTube so you understand what you're getting into, especially if you're gonna make a purchase.
Has Markiplier done this yet?
No, he hasn't done it yet. I found another one by a gentleman called Panda something.
Ah, yes.
Who is this fan?
I don't know, but I've heard of such a person.
I actually was introduced to it by another friend who was. Well, I was over her shoulder watching her play.
I played
And,
it before.
basically, we were playing Pandemic before that, and she goes, "If you like Pandemic, you'll probably like Reverse Pandemic," as she described it, and it's Plague Inc. I'm like, okay, and she goes, "You basically just kill everyone, and with diseases." I'm like, "Oh, that sounds awesome." So, yeah, that's how I got introduced to that.
I think about 2 years ago, a friend of mine, he was playing it while we were out to eat, and him and I were like kind of cackling over this while his girlfriend's like, "What are you two doing?" I'm like, "We're killing everyone." You need to name the plague. That's the best part.
I named it like Snuggles, and like one was Good. I named it like Happy. Actually, I named mine Happiness before the Christmas one.
I named mine Christmas. I named my Xmas Cheer.
Yeah. Or like I don't know, just really positive things.
I named mine.
I did name one Stupidity.
These are destroying the world!
What other funny names did you guys come up with for your diseases?
Hippies.
My cat and Xmas Cheer.
What was your Shane?
Hippies.
Hippies? Oh, you had hippies too? Hippies?
No, you should have done Beatnik.
Yeah, I did hippies, and then I did like random names, and then
I think I did
Im-
hobo.
Oh.
Yeah,
The
hobo.
the homeless.
Yeah. That's really bad.
Yeah, my first one was love.
Love, yeah.
More than anything.
Aw, Mr. Darcy, you destroyed the
First
world.
flag! You did such a great job! You're the best bacterial infection ever!
That's what happens when
They have the Ashes to Ashes song on the game.
Okay.
How
You're-
morbid.
Yeah. I didn't even know that. How'd you get that?
It just started playing.
That's weird.
So you see people are dying though?
Well, you know, the Ashes to Ashes song was a song
About
for
the
the
Black
plague.
Plague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ring around the rosies, ring around your pockmarks, pocket full of posies, posies what you wore in your pocket for good luck, ashes, ashes, we all drop dead.
All down. But yeah.
No, but I just gave you the translation.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that one. I just didn't know the game actually played the song, so I'd never heard it.
You can buy the soundtrack. I almost accidentally bought it by mistake on Steam.
Soundtrack.
Soundtracks. Well, the music. You know, the music
Like,
of it is actually.
dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have little kids
Yeah.
giggling. That's really creepy. It's like, why are they giggling?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Well,
children
that's-
laughing is creepy. We know that by horror culture.
That's true. What did you guys? Well, for anyone who did the free version, what did you think? What do you think of the my brain is farting. What is it? When you buy stuff in a game?
You're mutating?
No. Like in any game.
Oh, microtransaction or
Or well, they're not the microtransactions, but.
in-app purchases?
Yeah, I guess so. What did you think of those, as far as like, do you feel like it should have been easier to unlock things, or do you think that it's fair, or anything was unreasonable, or what are your opinions on that?
Well, I'm curious because it sounds like Kat's the only one that's bought it, unless Aaron, did you buy it by any chance?
I had got the Steam version really cheap,
Okay, so you
$5 or something.
bought
So
it too. So I'm
Yeah.
curious. You kind of need to know the differences, you know. Like we know. Well, I guess fast forward we can do on the free one. Apparently. Even though I'm pretty sure I read it where it was like you can fast forward if you buy it. So
Yeah,
that sounds
I
like
think they tried to trick me into
Yeah.
buying it by doing that because I didn't know.
Yeah. But yeah, like I'm kind of curious what the differences are. It sounds like there's scenarios in the paid version that we didn't have.
yeah, like the Black Plague. There's a what is it? Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
I didn't see that one.
You didn't? No. It's
No.
scroll down. I think it's at the
Yeah,
bottom.
there's this. I think there are expansions though, so I'm kind of wondering. But there's the simian plague, and there's also necrocide. It looks like that's like
Yeah,
zombies.
Necrocide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one that I wanted to get to, but because I'm really sucky at the game, I can't get through it enough to get to it.
I think those two might be the ones that you have to
You have to buy it?
Yeah.
It's a pirate flag.
What?
The what?
It's a pirate flag.
A pirate
Pirate
flag?
plague?
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Xenophobia. There's no. Is the monkey one named anything obvious?
Okay.
So I want to do
Maybe they
that.
took the monkey one out.
Yeah, I am curious about those because like it seems like there's a lot of stuff that's not
Yeah.
in the free version,
Mhm.
which I mean it makes sense, but at the same time, like I don't know, it depends. Like I guess for me, like I was saying, I didn't really have too much fun with it, and
Yeah.
but you know, a lot of you guys did. So
Beyond like the adding, more numbers and all of that, what other things would you add to this game? Do you feel like it was lacking?
A PvP element.
Actually, that would be interesting. Kind of
Yeah.
like boring diseases.
Yeah.
Well, you have one person that's the disease, and then you have another person that's trying to cure the disease.
Oh, that's cool. So the people,
Oh.
yeah.
yeah,
So you could have somebody going around like putting the little vials down, and someone's trying to
Dysentery.
pop them and stuff, and then I guess
On that.
if you put the numbers crunching in there, then you could probably figure out some way on the curing side to work that. That would be really interesting.
What I liked was, like, in the Black Plague thing, I was just amazed at how fast it spread. I'm like, this is kind of scary.
Because it actually
The
happened.
President of the United States has contracted it, and it's like the best medicine couldn't save him, and I'm just like, I wonder if this is a morality play, too.
For the plague one, did they utilize the spreading with the rats a lot more? Were they like extra
Than birds.
rats and birds?
Rats, fleas, birds, livestock, and then like it's like they just kept piling on the symptoms. Like I didn't even do anything, and it was just towards the end. It was like I was just adding symptoms just to spite people.
Mm.
Yeah, I've been
Dying. Like you're just popping buttons every 5 seconds. I'm like, this is scary.
Yeah. Although they start exterminating the birds, though, which sucks.
Wow,
Yeah.
Canada is being extra resilient.
Yeah, I always
put
have
some
trouble with
med-
Canada.
Cold,
bacterial-
Cold environment.
resistance.
Right.
So I have a question.
They're also rich countries, so you can.
Did anyone have a different view of the world after playing this game? Like, did you find yourself walking down the street and going, wow, that would be a terrible place for the plague to start? Or
Yeah. Well, I started playing this kind of before all the Ebola stuff was going on, and it just makes you more aware of kind of how out of control it can get. But then at the same time, the way that the CDC and doctors are able to control it, it's not scary. So I kind of, but yeah, I mean, when I see people copying and hacking, though, sometimes I'm like, don't touch me, I'm afraid. So I don't know. I go back and forth constantly with it.
I just sit back now. I just kind of watch. Like, it was crazy that when this game came out, there was a thing in the wormhole with Morgan Freeman. They were doing the zombie one as well, and they were talking. There was one particular scientist was on there was talking about how when like a disease touches something, and how common that like people touch that one environment, like how quickly it spreads. It's for me, it's like even playing the game, watching and reading and seeing. It's just kind of like you just sit back and you're like, shit. Like there's so much factors. Like there could be some guy in Georgia right now cutting up meat, sneezing on it on the hot dog that he's creating and feeding it to some guy that's part of the Atlanta Braves like general management, and we would never know. It's like it's little things like that. Like the game makes you realize like, oh god.
Moral of the story is get vaccinated. Get your kids vaccinated.
Yeah, but then there's that they don't have necessarily vaccines for, and then there are mutations. So it's like...
Yeah, but the more people vaccinated, the more secure we all are. So get vaccinated so we don't all die from this.
False sense of security. No, just kidding.
I guess for me, what kind of keeps me not so afraid is the intelligent mutations that we're doing to make it happen. It's like, the plagues that we send out are very intelligent. It's like we're infecting as many people as we can without any symptoms so they don't notice it before we just pile on all the fatal symptoms. And plagues don't do that, but...
Yeah, well, not in that particular level, but in a sense they do. You see, as we're evolving, and so are our immune systems, and so are the diseases and bacteria and viruses that we live with. And the way they survive is by living pretty much on the fringes of us. If we got a cold like right away, then maybe we'd be able to fight it faster and it wouldn't live as longer. If it needs to germinate in your body for at least a week so it can get strong enough so you start showing symptoms. If it showed symptoms right away, that wouldn't work for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
yeah, and one of the easiest ways to lose the game is to pile on the deadly symptoms too quickly, so that scientists jump on it. And one of the best ways to win is to make it all sneaky, so that nobody would notice. And as long as the CDC and the World Health Organization, etc., are constantly being vigilant and watching out for brand new diseases and informing people on how to protect themselves from the ones that are already out there, we are in pretty good hands unless the next best scary virus appears and we all have it. Like Walking Dead.
Yeah. Side of us.
Right.
Yeah. It's
And
pretty
then and then funeral arrangements is like he died a good man. Now everyone shoot him in the head so he doesn't eat us later.
Well, there was one cool thing I saw while playing this and watching that Enter the Wormhole. The CDC or some of the people that work for what they do is they actually fish for viruses and bacteria. So they get healthy or not healthy, but basically appetizing like sources, and they just fish out there and try to catch the new virus, and then they try to build it like 5 months ago so that if it does come out, they have like a stockpile of like version A, version A1, version A12, and it's just like, but then we may never see a version A12. It's ridiculous how like they go right into it, but it's just like it's crazy. Just like the things that they talk about, and then like one little thing can be turned on or off, and it's a whole other virus or a whole other thing that could be killing us.
Has anyone watched that show Helix on Sci-Fi?
No. How is it?
They have like a lab where they have all these different version A and version Bs of different like viruses. And then there's of course the one, it's like the super one that they have for the show that people are getting, but they have all the other like regular, flu and Ebola.
Right, isn't that what would happen if Walking Dead, wouldn't all those diseases get out in Walking Dead too, and we'd have that to deal with? That's why Walking Dead rule just doesn't make sense. We would have all been radioactive and blown up by whatever nuclear plant was being watched after anyway.
Well, I don't know, probably. But yeah, because the CDC gets completely destroyed in the show. Oh, sorry, am I spoiling it for anybody? Has anybody seen it?
Spoilers.
Sorry, spoilers.
CDC is gone. The world is over. Yada, yada. All infected. We're all infected.
Yeah.
And apparently,
I didn't know there were zombies.
Zombies. Spoilers.
maybe that's why you die right away when you get bitten, because all the zombies have every single disease.
Well, no, in the Walking Dead, we're all infected, so we're all basically carriers.
Yeah, I know.
The bite basically triggers it and just shuts your body down, and then the basic process. Basically, they compare it back to the Morgan Freeman show. The closest we can get to it is like a form of rabies where the basic function of the brain continues, so it's just like consume, 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 and then they just kind of go on autopilot and they just consume, whatever like human meat is.
Mm-hmm.
And they go into the concept of, with the infection style though, with rabies, do we as a living being give off a certain smell versus like an animal, so like, or something like that? Because you notice how like in the Walking Dead scenario, there's no infected animals, no infected cats, birds, or anything. It's just the humans that have it. So do we, because we're all infected, do we just basically secrete like this smell or this something that just they notice it's us and they're like, we eat that versus that cat. Well, they'll eat the cat, but the cat never gets infected.
They ate
But also to think, like, you get most of the diseases we can get that are really nasty, we get from primates. So then, do we have a bunch of zombie monkeys and gorillas running around?
Yeah.
Never went into that. They don't really go beyond like a few states. They never actually show us like what the rest of the world is going through, which would be really interesting to see.
They did reveal early on that France had it.
Yeah.
So French, they did us in.
Yeah.
Well, I know the show, they're going to do a prequel. They're going to do a whole other character, like new characters, and they're just going to say basically when D-Day starts and how the world just fell apart. And it's curious to watch to see what take they go on it, because basically watching any show, it's kind of the same thing. You get out of the cities, and then the government basically kills anyone that they can't control. And if you've ever played Resident Evil or any of those other games, I'm curious to see the direction they go into it.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm wondering if this is a man-made virus that got out of control, or was it a virus that they tried curing and then by doing it, it evolved into some super virus, or was it like a genome in the human, code that they're just like turned on accident, like, So, because they find out in the CDC, they knew that we were infected when they're like, yeah, we're all infected. Now, granted, the comics, they find out one way, in the show the guys in the CDC, they're like, yeah, we found out we're all infected. We're trying to cure it, but we can't.
Yeah.
Well, he was about to.
Yeah.
All the can.
And went nuts and flew over.
No, it was like he had that last thing, and then like something happened, and it like got on him, and then the CDC was like, infection area, we're gonna blow it up. And he's like, no.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was working on a sample and it did something.
That was in the first season.
Oh,
Yeah, he was working on something and it got ruined.
I'll
Yeah.
have to watch that again. I really want to read the comics though too.
Comics
Yeah, I
are
want to read
good.
the comics.
Comics are good. There's no baby in the comics, or yeah, there is, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, I shouldn't say cool, but it's just the show is definitely PG compared to the comics. Like they're very like
Pornography.
yeah,
I've
comics are
read some of the comic books. There's a lot of not safe for kids stuff in there.
yep.
Well, I don't think the TV show should be for kids either.
Oh.
Because it's pretty gruesome.
I think maybe that's what Kat's getting at. The
Well-
TV show is safe for kids compared to the comic.
Well, yeah, it's worse. Yeah, I'm sure they can get away with a lot more.
Like I sometimes I wonder about that with kids. Like I saw the second Resident Evil movie when I was in high school, and or I think it was in high school, but I was just like, I couldn't like it just stuck with me for days.
Mm.
I guess it doesn't fear me because I used to go to my friend's place and play Resident Evil. Like I play it. The movies were terrible.
Yeah,
They were just outright terrible.
scary.
I like the first one.
The first one, like that one, like I said, that one stayed with me for days.
Well, I mean, I played the games young, and then the game has a more different effect on you because you're actually like in the game versus watching a movie where you're outside watching in.
Yeah.
So playing the games first, like the scary games, Resident Evil, Parasite Eve, all those like scary games, and even playing Plague. Plague had this like effect on me where it's like, okay, how would I systematically kill the Earth? And I'm like, all right, so I think I want to go to a third world country, and then go basic and basically have like no symptoms, but get all the animals or make it immune to the cold or something like that. And I would stick away from. I would try to stay away from the USA as long as I could, or like China or some big country that could start curing it until I can get about 30% of the world infected. And then sitting back, I'm just like, like, does like life think that way? Is there some virus? Is just like my creation is to just infect, so it can't be discovered. It's like. Yeah, the game makes you think that way, so it's like, but watching like a documentary, you're like, food for thought, and then you just go on your day. Or Plague, you're like,
Well, if anything, it should teach you that places that you're targeting shouldn't exist. You should, the places where there's not good health care and stuff like that. It's like, well, these places I'm hitting because they're vulnerable targets. And you're thinking, damn, they really shouldn't be vulnerable targets.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game definitely it's disturbing, and it makes you think about if, like you said, a virus had our intelligence and could go around systematically thinking, how am I going to do this? It's very scary, but interesting.
There was a TV show. It was talking about like how. I think it was saying like how aliens would, like, if you were to invade a planet, how would you do it?
The movie Independence Day.
No. Basically, what they said. Well, yeah, but basically what they said was, if an advanced like ship came over, or came over to Earth.
America.
Like,
that would be the colonization of the Americans by the Europeans.
Well,
Pretty much
no.
Something happened to them.
Well, they said they don't even actually have to get on the planet for one thing. Like there was one thing they mentioned saying they would have to just drop like these dense, like pieces of like scrap into the water and basically flood the planet, like right next to the coastline, and just like wash like 3 miles in, just gone like that. The other thing was saying like they would just infect birds and then just let it happen. And then I thought to myself, I was like, if I was to kill the planet watching the show, I would put everything in like stuff like this, like Germex stuff. So the people that actually do clean their hands are actually getting everyone sick because this is the source. They think they're cleaning themselves, and they're like, yeah, I'm clean, and then they're touching stuff, and then, you know, that's how I do it. I'd kill people with Germ-X.
You are diabolical, sir, I will admit. However, like, if killing off almost an entire civilization's been done before, it was done with smallpox blankets.
Yeah. To hear about the measles at Disneyland?
Oh yeah, I just saw that today.
What about measles? Go on.
9 people got infected.
Something like that.
Measles.
Like 2 of them were babies.
No.
The babies don't get the vaccine because they're too young.
Yeah.
So they're exposed to the stupid people that don't get
How did
vaccinated.
measles end up at Disney?
Put thousands of people in a place and have them touch everything.
Yeah. I know, yeah, just going on the same ride and touching it and they don't wipe it down or anything like that. I don't know, how long does that virus, it's a virus, right? How long does that survive on a surface, though? Or is it just people hacking at each other in close proximity?
Well, I don't know. Is measles airborne, or is it through touch, or is it through bodily fluids? What is it?
Could you imagine if it was strictly through touch and someone's touching your baby and they have the measles?
Yeah.
You're like, you have a pretty baby! Oh! In fact,
Oh. Measles transmission. Let's see.
Isn't there a measles vaccination or something?
Throat and mouth.
Yeah.
It's-
babies,
Let me guess. More affluent people thinking that they shouldn't vaccinate their kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. It's the MMR vaccine.
It's the Native Americans' revenge.
Yeah. So it's coughing and sneezing. So it's airborne with transmitting your saliva, basically.
Kiss the
So
baby.
also, you know, if you're like here and somebody's coughing, or I've heard even talking to you because you have spray, you can get that in your mouth and on your face.
Have you guys seen the Mythbusters? They talk about spreading, how easy it is to actually spread a sickness. Adam put a tube running down his nose, and it dripped like a certain amount of liquid per second, and it would basically make him self-consciously, you know, rub his nose, like with his hand or something like that. And so people didn't think anything of it because he wasn't acting sick, he wasn't feeling sick, and basically they had 8 people playing poker or eating or hanging out. Adam was one of them, and then they're like, okay, we just did an experiment with you guys, and we, you know, and they turned this like black light on, and basically everyone except this one person who was already a germophobic person were all infected. It was all in their hands, on the cups, the cards, like they all got infected. And basically it was talking about the fact that people who don't even think they're sick, like they're just like, man, I have a runny nose, and they don't even think anything of it, and they just touch something, and then that goes, and then they played like a card game for I think 45 minutes, and at the end of it, they're all infected except the one germophobic person, who was literally like holding things with like, she'd have her cup, and then she would be like, put it here, and then like no one would touch her stuff, and then I think the only reason why she got like some of it on her hands was because of the cards. But other than that, like, yeah.
Wow. That's nuts.
Yeah, you're all filthy, diseased animals.
I always, after I use the bathroom, I always take a paper towel and I open all the doors with a paper towel, because I know people are just like,
Yeah. Or they don't touch their hands.
or they don't wash their hands.
I don't touch anything in my bathroom at my job. I don't. Like, I go to the bathroom and wash my hand. I grab a paper towel, I open it, and then I don't even open doors with my hands anymore. I always use like my elbows or like my forearm. Like, it's crazy. Like,
Or your foot.
Yeah, because everyone
like-
does it all the time. and
Did
it's like,
Plague
someone
do that to you?
for them practice here.
no, actually, it wasn't Plague. It was actually Mythbusters is talking about, I think they're showing like sneezing. They were talking about sneezing with, you know, your eyes open, and then they had it in slow motion, and it was how it went out, and then I was just like, then I saw the one where they're playing the card game. I'm just like, oh, like
Gross.
even when I see people sneeze, like one thing they did was, what's the proper way to sneeze? Is it like in your hands? Is it in like a cloth? You know that like a
Vampire sneeze.
Right, yeah.
I do this too. Technically, this is the best way to do it. It's still bad, but
Yeah.
like when I don't see anyone sneeze like this at all, I'm like,
I do.
No, I mean like when they don't do that, it's like
Mm.
like
Although I
go
have
away, go
occasionally
away.
Yeah.
accidentally sneezed on Robert's face.
Oh, jeez.
Sonya's a very clean person, but there have been
Sometimes there's
times.
like attacks. It just comes out and I can't control it. It's just
My
So just
favorite.
look for Robert.
My favorite is we're in the car driving, and I had told Sonia because she had sneezed once where she turned her head, but it was towards me, and I felt it. I'm like, Sonia, please, like, sneeze the other way. And she did it. She listened. She ended up sneezing the other way, but she sneezed right into my window, and it was very
I'm feeling better now, though.
I was in New York City a couple of weeks ago with my sister, and it seemed like it was a running gag. Everybody kept sneezing on me or coughing on me behind. I had a woman dressed in a Hello Kitty costume in Times Square, lifting up her thing just to sneeze on me. I don't know how I didn't get sick so soon.
It's crazy you say that. This happened to me a long time ago. I was at my neighbor's house, and we were just hanging out in his kitchen cooking, and I went to go to his like a cupboard to pull something out, and he didn't see me, so he turned to sneeze, and he like sneezed on me. And I remember this. He was like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, dude." Like, "Oh, I'm like, it's And I remember because like the next day I was sick. I was like, "Oh." I had like a fever and everything, and I was like,
Longer than that to gestate.
Fast.
I don't know, like I don't know. I just remember because like the following week I just didn't feel good, and I was just like, why am I don't understand this. And then now that I know what I know, I'm like, because he sneezed on me. It's like, God, like just.
Do you have speaking of, how about like those hand sanitizer, those blow they don't, the people that the bathrooms are cheap and they don't give you paper towels and they have those stupid blowers. I hate them.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like all it's doing is spitting up on me again. Might as well just use my hands though on my pants.
Yeah. Unless it's the ones that the blower is open. It's on the floor, so it's not like kicking.
No, you understand. The thing is that it's sucking in the air in the bathroom and then blowing it on your hand.
Oh, you're infected. Robert cough. It's done.
This whole room.
It's done.
There's no ventilation in that room. You've all got it.
Yeah.
Is this yours?
Yeah, it's mine. Don't.
I'm thirsty.
Sonia, you realize that your lips have touched his before. I'm pretty sure whatever he has, you already have.
No, but this virus is only mouth to cup to mouth. That's how this one works.
That's how it spreads, cup to mouth.
Mouth to mouth.
You can't survive mouth to mouth. You can only survive cup to mouth.
That clever. It catches you when you least expect it with the cup or
Yeah,
something.
it needs that time on the cup to prepare itself for the mouth.
It needs a little bit of air. Yeah.
See what playing you has taught us?
I know.
So much.
It's not to be afraid to not touch anyone, to sneeze properly. Doorknobs are disgusting, and so are keyboards.
Yeah.
It's pretty gross.
I acknowledge my keyboard here is gross. That's why I have this. Like I walk away. I'm just like, all right, I'm good. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing you can do about it. It's just a keyboard. Like, unless I physically disassemble it, clean it, and put it back together. And by the time I put it back together, it's gonna be dirty again.
Yeah.
Although I think we also have to keep in mind that, like, you can't be completely germ-free. There's bacteria and all kinds of things on you all the time, everywhere. It's just, it's like breathing and eating. It's just part of life, and your body's constantly fighting and dealing with stuff, even when you're, healthy. So it's like, I think the people who are
super... on the New York subway.
Huh?
Don't lick the handbars in the New York subway and wash your hands and you'll be good.
Right,
or lick them so that your immune system's more stronger after
vaccine,
whatever that is. Yeah.
Good luck with that.
I always wash all of my clothes after going to New York City. You just have to. Jacket, everything. Do not wear it again.
Don't wear QA.
To every single disease in the world in that city in one day.
Don't go to New York. Don't wear QA.
Actually, I found out the convention sickness. I learned about that one the hard way too.
Oh yeah.
Like people talk about it, I'm just like, they probably have a weak immune system. And then I went to one and I like all gunked up like the next week. I'm just like, what did I do? I was like, oh, that's right. I was in a big room with 10,000 people, and I
Or
just
you
got
go to a
COVID.
poop boat cruise. One of my relatives always comes back sick the week after a cruise.
I went to EA.
Barge.
I went to EA. I went Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday when I left, I was feeling sick. I got home and found out I had the stomach flu. Had to call in to work sick the next day. It was pretty nasty. Yeah.
Not fun.
Yeah, I actually just went to Disneyland before the whole measles thing. But now I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, my mom got a cold, but I didn't get anything, so I don't know.
Well,
Not
if you're
yet.
vaccinated, I think.
Well, cold's not going to do anything. You can't get anything for the cold.
Oh, I do get this a lot at work. I tend to. Okay, have you people heard about the parent that got in trouble? I think it was like 4 years ago. He was making his I think it was like a 5-year-old child like run in the snow for like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, the
There's a
tiger dad or whatever it was, right?
Yeah, and basically the kid had this illness that he was expected to die at like 3 or 4. And because the actions of what the father did by toughening him up, he, still alive and, he goes outside and plays and stuff like that. And I was like, that's very interesting. So I found out if you expose your body to like a cold, like the cold temperature, it makes your immune system work. Or if you expose your body to like super hot, well, that happens here in what East Coast because we have humidity in summertime. Your body will work. So I'll go into work, be like 40 degrees outside. I'll go to my car, and I'll go to work in shorts, and everyone's like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, I joke around, I'm like, oh, it's not that cold, but it's like, no, the reason why I do it is because it helps my body, it turns my body on. Like, I take cold showers, too. I make my body work. And they're like, well, that's stupid. I'm like, yeah, but I'm never sick. You were sick like 2 months ago, and when the call center bug goes around, I don't get hit by it. Like, I do, but it's like my body's already working. Like, I walk in there, my immune system's already working, and then, like, this bug goes in me, and it's like, oh, what the, oh, kill that already.
You
So
think 40 degrees is cold?
it's colder than what your body's supposed to be.
I just left 17 degrees below freezing.
Well, I have 19 degrees outside, so.
I've heard the same thing before. There was actually an article not long ago that was like the headline was why people in the cold are healthier or something like that, and it's definitely true. It's keeping the body active, and it changes the way the body works in a lot of ways because when you're in that perfect temperature zone, your body gets kind of relaxed. It's the same thing as your muscles getting kind of soft when you don't exercise, or your brain getting kind of weak when you're not thinking and doing things,
I've done running in like 90-degree weather. I don't know if that helps me, but I've done it, and it kind of feels like, something's going on in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure all the chemicals and stuff that go along with that,
It's all about the homeostasis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the they're calling him the Eagle Dad, and he says, but I believe in no pain, no gain, like an eagle. So basically, they did this to the kid, but they did get doctor consent on it as well. So it wasn't like he just did it. It was something that basically there's a video of the kid. He's out in his underwear and shoes, for like 4 minutes, just freezing, and then he brings him inside, and then basically he's just making his body work, and the other thing to that is people that like over sanitize or only do this or just don't make their body work. They're shit. Their body doesn't work. They're all. If someone sneezes on them, they're done. They're out for the count. They get sick for a week. And they're always, well, not really always sick, but it's just like their immune system doesn't work. They're just bleh,
Yeah.
True.
Yep. Yeah, I don't do the cold too much, obviously, because I don't get the cold, but I do the heat, and I do definitely exercise and try to push myself harder sometimes. Because I feel like that does help. Well, it's not just about immune system, but it's also like cardiovascular and everything else. So.
No, you know, it's not that you don't do the cold, it's that you refuse to acknowledge that it exists. I showed you pictures of the snow, and you're like, no, just no, never.
I don't like that. That doesn't happen. No, I like the snow if it's like I can go traipse around in it for a couple minutes and then go back inside. But I'm not the kind of person who's gonna want to be going skiing or anything like that.
I went snowboarding in a month.
You know?
Going in 12th, so.
Yeah. But maybe tobogganing. Just those little things.
I'll take you sledding someday on a nice wooden sled.
Sledding. That would be good. I actually saw these really cool ones that they're these little plastic ones that have the handles on the front. You literally leap onto it and go down face first. That kind of looks fun.
I'm a sledding hipster. I just do the old wooden metal rider sled all the way.
The only thing I ever did was those discs. And then I just ended up falling off of it at the end. They weren't very easy to do. I've never done it, but has anyone ever done ice blocking?
No.
You take
What
a
is that?
really big piece of ice and you just put a towel on, you sit on it, you go down a hill.
That sounds scary.
That sounds very not safe.
It's not.
Sounds like a poor version of tubing.
Yeah.
So you
Oh,
do
8
when
o'clock.
you're
Oh,
kids,
it's 8
you don't
o'clock.
know that.
Yeah, we started off talking about a video game and then went into a lovely lecture about world health.
Yep. Well, I mean,
Yes.
it does. That's an important thing to talk about as far as what it's kind of making us think about. But I guess
Contact the CDC website.
to wrap it up because it is 8 o'clock.
Too long, didn't read, wrap it up.
I don't know. I don't know what my last question should be. I feel like we really talked about a lot of stuff. Do you have anything, Robert?
Robert's tired.
Yeah. No, I mean, we talked about diseases. Talked about the game. I think that's pretty good. Unless you want to ask about what to do next.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Although we did have a list.
Yeah, we have a list that we've been doing. We did the poll. What did you think about the poll? Doing it that way.
It was a good idea.
Okay. Yeah. You didn't vote?
I'm sorry. I lost some more time.
Oh, it's okay. So I'm going to try it one more time and see how that goes. I'll re-add the ones that we didn't do and then like add another one. Just make your suggestions, I guess, to me, and I'll just like randomly pick one and then we'll pick from those. I don't know. Yeah. So we'll do that. So the next one will be, let's see, February 22nd. Is everybody good for that?
Yeah, works for
I
me.
don't know what the game is yet, so I guess I'll know if you're interested in it.
Rob's out.
February is the season of love. We should do a love-themed game.
A love game. A
Oh
date.
boy. Oh
Yeah, like
boy.
Larry Laffer. That was the one. Actually, it was actually the first computer game I ever played because my dad got it. And it was
Oh.
not a kid's game.
Larry
It was
Shoot Larry?
text-based. Well, it was text in some animation.
Well, I think I should put down that that I don't know if we can even do it. I think it's on a console, but there's that pigeon sim dating game. Have you ever seen that one? I forgot what it's called. Basically, this Japanese game where what is it called?
Hot to full boyfriend.
Hot to Full Boyfriend?
Yes.
Why does Robert know that game and not you?
Yeah.
Good question.
He has a good
Robert?
memory.
Should I look for a man?
What's that mean?
Get it up online.
Yeah.
I forget.
I know. We've seen videos of it, and it's pretty funny. Anyway, so yeah, the 22nd. So thank you everybody for playing the game and for conversing. And anyone out there who's been watching or will watch, we will be back next month. Hope you see us later. Okay. Bye.
Bye.